Heading over to the convention center, day 2 of the Fantasy Football Fest. We'll see how it compares to yesterday. Today's Sunday, and with everybody they had over there, we'll see if it compares to yesterday and the crowd that they had. They do have Phil Simms, Chris Dolman, a couple of others are going to show up, so hopefully fans decide to show up and make it an event worth attending next year. But we'll see what happens as it goes on.
This one would be more of a... Yeah, so that's just not 12 years, right?
I really wanted to try
12 years though, I mean, you're thinking like 40, like 30, 39 or 37, that's a lot, that's a long time.
I feel like this trophy, so it's kind of cool to me.
I know.
I get an idea of how empty the room is around here. Fantasy is supposed to take place here. You can come down either with your own group and create your own league that way, or join up with the league that was going to be created here. So as you can see, you know, for the fantasy football part of this fest, didn't really pan out as they had hoped. I'm standing alongside Matthew Berry, the ESPN fantasy analyst. Would that make you an expert fantasy analyst in their regard, or how do they treat you at ESPN, considering you report on fantasy?
They treat me very well, actually. I mean, it's a silly job. Like my Twitter handle says, I'm ESPN senior fantasy analyst. I'm just as surprised to see it's a real job. So it's great. You know, it's ESPN's an amazing job, and the cool thing is that now everyone plays fantasy. So when Adam Schefter stopped me in the hall, I was like, all right, look, I got pick 3, 12-team league, and I'm like, Shefty knows everything, and he's asking my advice. It's pretty cool. So they treat me great, actually, because they all play fantasy and they're into it.
That's funny. And considering this is the first annual Fantasy Football Fest, how does it feel, considering the position you're in, to be at an event like this?
Well, I was thrilled and honored that they asked me to come in and be here. I think it's a great event. I think it's a great event for fantasy. I think it's a great event for the fans. I get to meet a lot of players. There's a lot going on, you know, there, in terms of like food and autograph and memorabilia, great advice from a lot of people in the industry, fantasy analysts. So it's been great. Everyone I've talked to has a big smile on their face, has their hands filled with memorabilia and draft sheets and cheat sheets, and so I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to next year already.
Now, I heard you say you already have RG3 at number 12 amongst quarterbacks.
Right.
Now, considering the draft of this year, you had RG3, Luck, and Tannehill. Out of the 3 of them, which do you see putting up the best fantasy numbers?
I think it's RG3, right? It's the rushing yards that I believe he has better weapons around him than Andrew Luck. Not significantly, but I think he does have better weapons around him. I think it's going to be a more fantasy-friendly offense. You know, I've given this stat a lot, but last 2 years, Mike Shanahan and the Redskins have been top 5 in the NFL in passing. Top 5. They throw a lot, so they're going to throw a lot. That's what Mike Shanahan does. I think in Indianapolis they're going to run a little bit more. We're 2 tight end sets to be a little bit more conservative. So those 2 things, along with RG3's rushing ability, the fact that he's going to be able to get yards rushing, that helps put him over the top of Luck this year for fantasy.
Now, if that's going to put him over the top, how is that going to compete against Michael Vick in his rushing category?
But it's not the same. He's not the accomplished runner that Michael Vick is. Michael Vick's an amazing runner. RG3 right now is fast, and there's a difference. There's a difference. And I think it's unfair to put RG3 in that category. It's unfair to both of them. While I think the future is really bright for RG3, I think it's unfair to put them in the same category, and Michael Vick will have a better fantasy year.
Are you just a little partial to RG3 because you're a Redskins fan?
Probably. Probably. I've written this online. I've said, when it comes to Robert Griffin III, I am not rational.
See, that's like me. I'm a Jets fan.
Right.
And people always ask me Sanchez or Tebow. I say they haven't played yet. When they play, I'll give you my opinion on that.
There you go. Exactly.
So this way, it kind of like heads off the pass there.
Uh-huh.
And with the way fantasy has gone the past several years, and the internet just booming with fantasy, I mean, where is the best place to go for people who are just starting out for fantasy?
Well, listen, ESPN.com, I'm a company man, but it's true. We actually have a Fantasy Football for Beginners podcast series this year. We have a lot of articles in our draft kit. It's all free that basically say, here's how you set up a league for the first time. Here's how you do this. And there's videos actually that I've done on YouTube as well. If you search for Matthew Berry Fantasy Football on YouTube, you'll find them. That all explains sort of how to get into it. It's really easy. You put as much time or as little time into it as you want to. It gives you a rooting interest in every football game, which is great. So if you're a sports fan, it makes you more of a sports fan. If you're not a sports fan, it'll help you understand sports. And it's fun. There's a reason there are so many people addicted to it. There's a reason there's so many people here in Atlantic City at Fantasy Football Fest. It's because it's fun.
That's why I do 3 teams.
There you go.
It's very fun because I know at least one of them will win out of the 3.
Yeah.
My percentage is good. Now, the last question I pretty much have is, you give all this advice regarding fantasy. Is there certain advice you say, not with that, I'm going to keep that to myself. Why should I give that advice to somebody else?
No, never. It's weird. I no longer root for my fantasy teams. I root for my picks. Like if I'm playing, if I say, for example, well, I like Matt Schaub this Sunday, and I really think Matt Schaub's going to have a good week, even if I'm playing against Matt Schaub in 3 leagues, I hope Matt Schaub goes off. I would rather Matt Schaub go off and my pick be right, and me lose all 3 games, than the reverse. Me winning all 3 games, but I got the pick wrong. That's what I root for is my analysis and my picks, and so, no, I don't keep anything to myself.
Well, I guess maybe if you start to slide in your fantasy rankings, you might decide to hold on to a little something.
We'll see. So far, so good.
I was standing alongside Billy Taylor, former Jets and Giants player, which is very interesting. Now, let me just get right off the beat. Right now, Jets and Giants game tonight. What do you feel are the pros and the cons about the game as it's happening right now during the preseason?
Well, see, the Jets are jealous of the Giants because of their success. And the Giants are a very classy organization. I want the Jets to win because I do a lot of stuff with the Jet players. But I want to do it with class. You know what I mean? I mean, act like he's done it before. And I don't know if the Jets have that just yet.
Right.
But the Giants, they have a great quarterback. And I think this league, unlike when I was playing, is a quarterback league. If you got a good quarterback, you got a chance.
Right.
I don't know the Jets situation yet because of Tebow and Mark Sanchez. This is Mark Sanchez's 4th year. This is when he's supposed to step up. So tonight I know both teams hate each other. Listen to the rhetoric going back and forth. And I'm just anxious to see what happens within the first 2 quarters. The Giants don't have as much to prove as the Jets. The Jets have more to prove tonight because they are kind of like a second fiddle team. But I want them to have success. I hope it's a good game so that at least I'm entertained and I don't have to go turn the channel.
I don't think that'll be an issue. So, because if one team's doing bad, you got the other team you got to root for. So, you got a little leeway there. Now, before you were giving some advice to the lingerie football players. Now, considering, yes, they're female, but they're pretty built, what kind of advice do you give to them that you can take from off the field?
Well, it's pretty easy. A football player never stands straight up. And little kids get hurt sometimes when they stand straight up. A football player has always got to have his knees bent and always in a football stance. If you do that, you have a better chance. So I was looking at their stances, and they were serious. They call them powder puff football, but they practice, all of them. And I watched them when they practice. They all come off the line at the same time. They're in sync. They have a camaraderie that's really deep. And they're football players. They're all strong. They all work out. And I was impressed as heck. And not just because they were beautiful women, because they knew the game. I got a statistic that kind of blows me away. It said that in the last couple of years, 40% of the audience has become women. Before it wasn't women before. You had 90% men, but now women are getting involved, and I think most women who are widows on football Sunday have become involved with their mate, with their husband, their boyfriends, and I think that elevates the game even better, because if you can say an intelligent question, your wife can say, did you see Victor Cruz run that post pattern? Your husband will be blown away that she knows what a post is. It's that simple. It's totally a lingo thing. So that's why I'm impressed with women getting involved with football. And football, this fantasy football is taking off. This blows me away, because I've been a broadcaster. I'm not anymore, but I used to have to study so much the game, and I studied the opponents. So like tonight, if I did the Jet Giant game, I got to know both opponents. As a fantasy football owner, you got to know every team, the backups on every team, the third tight end in case somebody gets hurt. So these people have elevated football to a higher level, and I think that's why the NFL is so exciting.
Do you do fantasy?
I don't. You don't. They say I should, but the only reason, well, I work for the company. I work for the company, but you know, I mean, I 32 teams, and if the backup third string kicker, no, it's too deep.
Okay, then here's a hypothetical question for you.
Take your time.
You're in a fantasy draft.
Yes.
It's your first draft. You have to draft a quarterback. Sanchez or Manning?
Manning, that's not no-brainer.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you think Sanchez is equal to Manning? Honestly, this is just you and you speaking. Is Sanchez equal to Manning?
No, he's not.
He doesn't have the DNA.
He doesn't just have the DNA. He doesn't have the deep ball as Eli Manning does.
And he doesn't look off the defense. Sanchez looks exactly where he's throwing the ball. He's throwing the ball, watch Eli Manning. Comes back, looks over here, and throws the ball over here. You have to do that to the defense, because the defense is too sophisticated now.
See, that's the thing about Manning. He's like a chess player. He knows the strategy.
He takes
if you're
what
not
the
going to
defense
go
gives
for
him.
number one, you've got to look at 2 or 3.
Sanchez does not do that. No. Up until now. This next few games is crucial for Sanchez's career, because if he doesn't do well, they're going to be chanting, we want Tebow, that's going to be loud. In Denver last year, before Tebow took over the starting position, he was third string, and they were yelling for him to be on the field. It was in unison, 65,000 people yelling, we want Tebow. And the pressure was on the coach to put him in. You know, I'm not saying I like Tebow, I like the way he thinks, I like him. He's a good kid, the whole bit, I'd like him to marry my daughter, anything like that. But he's got to improve his throwing accuracy. This day, the top 10 quarterbacks are accurate as hell. You watch Eli Manning. You saw the passes through the Manningham at the end of the Super Bowl last year. You couldn't have thrown any better. Nobody could have thrown any better. You might have equaled it, but not better.
Well, no, it's kind of like on the same level with the David Tyree catch. Same level. And it's interesting how each catch comes against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Is there something in the water that the Giants drink that kind of propels them when it comes to the postseason?
I think that the Patriots have half of their staff is from the Giants. From Belichick to Pepper Johnson to go on down. So it's almost like the Giants versus the Giants. And the games are so close. Both Super Bowls. Last year, the Giants played them during the season and beat them. The year before, the Super Bowl in 07, the Patriots were undefeated. The Giants, last game of the season, lost 38-35. That gave them the confidence going into the Super Bowl to win. So I just think, you know, this game is so hard to pick because there's so many uncertainties from week to week, and that's what makes it such a great game. People think I'm an authority in picking the games. I don't even win. I'm mad because the games are so interesting and so deep.
When you watch the game today and you're watching as a former player, how often do you say to yourself, just one more down, I want in there for one more play?
Never, ever. Let me tell you this. I played all sports as a kid. I got drafted in baseball and played professional baseball. Football is the toughest game you can ever play. Practice is tough. The games are tough. I took a whooping. I played 7 years. I'm glad I could chew gum and walk at the same time. So I don't think many people say that. One more play or anything like that. I don't think so.
So you kind of had the same thought the same way like Curtis Smart and you did. You know, let me get out now so I can have time with my kids and I'm still able to go.
And have fun with the people. And like I said, I understand the game. It's a tough game. You know, certain goals. My goal was to play 4 or 5 years and get a pension for the rest of my life. I ended up playing 7. I didn't get any serious injuries, and I just really have fun with people. And I love it when you see the people get more knowledge about football. You see people, man, with more knowledge than ever before, and that's because of the fantasy aspect. They're looking up stuff, they're doing research, and that just elevates everybody. Because now people, when you listen to talk radio, people can make intelligent questions and thoughts because they study the game. I can tell within 2 minutes when a person asks me a question if they know the game. That's because the fantasy people are looking up research from every end. The guy has a book called Consistency, but you know, it's just so deep now. So I I just think the education of both women and men have gone up a different level because of fantasy football.
Very good point. Very good.
I think this is just blowing me away. It's really, it's just. These people are.
You seem like a kid in a candy store.
This is a candy store. Come on, look at all the people that love the game. You know, like I said, NFL doesn't have any problems like baseball. You look at baseball, even the Yankees are not sold out. And see empty seats, prices are too high. You know, but NFL finds a way to just keep it going. And you don't have to be a big market team to win the Super Bowl. You look at Green Bay and teams like that. Every team has a chance to win the NFL championship.
Unless you're Cleveland.
They got a chance. That was good, though. They got a new quarterback.
Yes, they do. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
Very much.
Best wishes to you, too. Thank you very much.
Behind me stands the Johnsonville 18-wheeler grill, truck, cargo van, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this is the type of grill I wish I had in my backyard. You can cook for 1,000, coleslaw for 1,000 men. It's amazing the size of this grill. Let's see if we can get some more information about this.
This is Miss Shelley, grill number 3 of 3. Alice, Lana, and Shelley are the 3. I'm the full-time tour with Miss Shelley. We go everywhere. So when you go to BigTasteGrill.com, you will see our blog on there from Grillmaster Rye. He's my partner with our little serving trailer over there. He blogs every day, every event we go to and everything else. Now, the Big Taste Grill has raised over $3 million in charity since 1995.
Excellent.
That's all we do. We grill for charity. Each grill is 110,000 BTUs. That means I have 440,000 BTUs of grilling power, which works out to about 32 square feet of grills on here. I can do 750 Johnsonville brats at one time, 2,500 brats an hour. Oh yeah, in my freezers here, I can store about 7,000 brats, which works out to about 2,000 pounds. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
As they say, this is the wow factor.
Oh. Now that's...
Little oranges for color.
But that's what any guy likes to see, a freezer full of meat.
You know it.
Yeah. And how much do you keep in there at one time?
I keep it full.
Wow.
Until when we get to big events especially, we expect to sell out. So I try to make sure I have enough to take care of all the fans, everybody that wants to come out. And then once I'm out, I get a reload right from Johnsonville Corporate. They bring it down to me, and we're up and going again.
And what are usually your biggest events that you go to?
We go everywhere. All sorts of different fairs, festivals. Our season typically starts with Super Bowl, rolls into the Daytona 500, and we just go from there.
Wow.
We'll hit everything from, right here, the Fantasy Football Fest, to NASCAR races, to strawberry festivals, art festivals, basically wherever we can coordinate with everybody to come in and give the charity a good opportunity to raise a lot of money. Because for a lot of charities, this is like hitting the lottery for them.
Good.
You can get a few $1,000s off of working a weekend, if not more, depending on the festival. And so that is huge for them, and that's what we try to do. Pick some of these events. We go, like I said, large events, small events, because wherever we can keep our cost low and be here, the more goes to charity.
And what are the biggest charities you guys usually go out to?
American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen Society, Live Strong, Speedway Children's Charities, the VFW. Right now, we're supporting the Marines.
Excellent.
I've been out to Army bases, military bases. We're raising money, say, when I was out at Fort Riley, Kansas for the 1st Army Battalion. Great bunch of guys that love being out there working with them. I mean, you pick a charity, chances are we've worked with them.
Wow. And like you said, this is the 3rd one?
It's the 3rd one.
Wow. And how many events per year do they each go to?
Oh my goodness.
You said you were the numbers guy.
Not all the numbers. That's why I'm the truck driver / grill master.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the tour's been in full swing, up and completely going since about March. And we do 2 to 4 events a week, all the way through to October. The other 2 grills are more of home reserve, part-time basis, maybe a couple of weekends a month. That's really about it. Hopefully, once the economy turns around, we'll have them out going even more, raising more money for charity.
Can you say what has been the strangest item that somebody's wanted you to grill or prepare up here? I know there's got to be something that you guys have probably had 20,000 question marks above your head.
Oh, geez. I can actually give you almost the Dave Letterman lit top 10 of stuff I hear all the time. Hey, is that thing really a grill? Yeah, it is. Even when it's open, I get that question. Otherwise, going on the road, it says Big Taste Grill on the lid of this thing, which you can get on the backside. It says world's largest grill, period, on the side of my truck. It says follow us online at bigtastegrill.com on the back of the truck. People still ask if it's grilled. I get people asking all the time, hey, I want a hamburger. Hey, I want ribs. My personal favorite, what do you cook on there? Johnsonville, underneath, this is brats in big letters. I get it a lot. But you know what, I have to laugh. It's just so much fun. The look on people's faces when they go down the road. First they're like, huh, okay, and then all of a sudden it hits them. You can see the light bulb going off. And unless you're in marketing, a lot of people don't understand this, I can't change lanes in this truck. People are flooring it to catch up to it, to get pictures, shoot video, cut in front of me to let people go so they get back out and they'll do a video. They'll slow down and do a video. And so, yeah, it's awesome. Just to make people's day and to be out here with this.
Well, so ends the first annual Fantasy Football Fest. Day 2 was not as big as day 1. And from the looks of things, I don't think the 25,000 people they were expecting showed up. Maybe about less than 20% of that. All in all, everybody who came had a good time. They got autographs they wanted. They caught some footballs. They kicked them. They threw them. You know, autographs, pictures, fantasy drafts, fantasy input, getting tips and knowledge about what you can do best in your fantasy league. But maybe next year, this will be a lot better. More people will show up. But until then, we'll see what happens. We'll catch you on the field. Well, you know what they say, Newark Airport is the Newark of airports.
What's that?
Newark Airport is the Newark of airports. The first father-son franchise. So do you plan on leaving the team to him?
We'll share most of the first 9-10 picks with his.
Will it become his franchise after, you know, when you decide you can't operate it anymore?
We kind of split.
Okay.
Yeah, I do this with my other sons too.